If you're following Johnny and Amber and things around them, you might know one person who's done a lot of honest talking about what's going on is Joe Rogan. And this here is no exception. But the thing I like is he gets into the bot situation or the speculation about bots. Now, the thing is, it's hard to actually prove how many bots there are, what sites they're hitting, things like that. But you can get an idea when something doesn't quite look natural. I wish I could play this straight through, but due to copyright claims, things like that, I gotta stop and pause a little bit and talk about what he says. But anyway, let's get to it.
Amber Heard recently. Who was talking about that? Jamie. And they got attacked by who was it?
Oh, they said that they said a joke that they didn't even say her name.
Right.
Because we're talking about her.
Yeah.
Will they get canceled?
No, it was just like it's almost like she's hired like one of those. I'm not accusing her of hiring this, but there are publicity teams that you can hire. So like if people are saying bad things about you, you can hire a team, and those people will go after anybody who says anything bad about you. And
Okay, so the person tweeted this out said, "Bro, even Joe Rogan knows Amber stands are bots. Amber's getting violated. BS comedian knows what's up about Amber. She is crazy. Laugh out loud." So Joe was talking about PR teams, people who could just go to bat for you and probably send out some bots and things like that. And he makes another good point here.
discourages people from talking shit about you.
Oh, but that
Just, it's probably
that doesn't work.
It doesn't work, but it.
I guess it lets people know you're not going to be an easy win.
It also makes the argument muddy because if everybody agrees that she's a psycho,
oh right,
then it's like it's just an echo chamber. But if you get the narrative to like, fuck you, you don't know what happened before that recording. And, he was an abuser and this and that. And Amber speaks the truth and she's a woman and she was confused. And like, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people that will chime in and say those things. And if you're hiring people, if you have like, say if you're a politician and something goes down and everyone's blaming you for some particular crisis your city has, if you have a marketing team that has a whole social media aspect to it, a propaganda aspect, essentially, you can have a bunch of people arguing for the mayor.
Right. So there you go. That's a good point that I'm not sure I actually brought up on this channel quite in those words, that even if they know they don't have the evidence against Johnny, they don't have the win of the argument, they could still muddy it up. That's a good way to put it. So when the normie comes around, the average person deciding, do I want to see Aquaman 2 or In the Fire because this person's in it? Let me just check what's going on the internet. Then they see a muddy argument. They don't automatically know what's going on. They don't automatically have the facts in front of them because they've got this conflicting info out there deliberately. I got to agree. That's a great point.
Right. And he didn't fuck anything up. And it's the city council's problem. And he warned them in 2014. I mean, they could say shit that's not even true.
Right.
And especially if they have these weirdo accounts where it's just a bunch of numbers and letters and there's no picture attached to it. And you go to them, there's no followers. You're like, this is wild.
Okay, so that's the reference to bots. It's a quick reference. He was mostly talking about PR, but yeah. So what they could do is they make a ton of accounts. They just type in the keyboard XYZ123 or whatever, and those accounts start saying things in favor of Amber. They can't really build followers because you can't build followers if you're going to make like a couple thousand fake accounts and things. You can maybe over years, but you don't have years. You got to get the stuff out now, and you got to contradict the most recent headlines and things like that. So you just got to take what you could get. You just got to take the trashy looking accounts with no followers, like he said.
I got a lot of shit for my criticism of Amber Heard, but it's like, hey man, I'm not saying she wasn't abused. She was dating a crazy motherfucker. They were both crazy, but from the evidence I heard, she the only one that sounded like an abuser.
But that's the only evidence we heard.
All right, so that guy's opinion was a little different than mine. He said he's not convinced she wasn't abused or something, that Johnny was crazy or something like that. But okay, seems like a fence rider to me. But I digress. It's irrelevant. The guy had like 2 seconds of talking time. The point is, Joe Rogan, right here, puts it out once again. I don't have the original video here, but you know, Joe rarely gets under 1 million views on his main podcasts. I don't think he gets less than like 2 or 5 million or something. So either way, a lot of people heard this. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Good on Joe for this. You could say I'm a fan. I mostly agree with things he says most of the time. And this is one of them. If you don't subscribe here, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.